lost my heart and hope to die. Welcome to my dark side.
Join me on Patreon to watch up to 5 episodes of this series and others in advance that are live right now. With that said, enjoy. Sup guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's story, I just want to let you know, this DBZ Goku and this story takes place right after the defeat of Majin Buu. So, with that said, let's begin. The world was finally at peace. Majin Buu had been defeated, obliterated by the massive spirit bomb, thanks to Goku and the combined hopes of everyone on Earth. Months passed, and that once devastated planet healed. The cities were rebuilt, laughter filled the air again, and for the first time in a long time, life felt normal. Bulma, never one to let a good moment slip away, decided the heroes deserved a proper celebration. So she did what she did best, planned a party. Not just any party, one big enough to honor the saviors of the world. Capsule Corporation was alive with energy that morning. Balloons floated in the air, tables were stacked high with food, and music played from speakers that echoed through the courtyard. From every corner of the planet, the Z fighters began to arrive. Krillin showed up first, laughing with Android 18 and little Marone bouncing happily on his shoulders. Tien and Chiaotzu landed quietly nearby, while Piccolo watched from the shade of a tree, arms crossed, pretending he wasn't enjoying the atmosphere. Trunks dashed around the yard, already joined by Goten, their laughter echoing through the crowd. Even Vegeta stood outside, silent and stern, pretending he wasn't enjoying himself. Then came the Sun family. Goku arrived with his usual grin, Chi-Chi beside him, Gohan and Videl close behind. The air buzzed with warmth and joy as old friends reunited, laughter mixing with the smell of grilled food and fresh desserts. Children ran around playing tag, while the adults chatted about life, politics, and how peaceful things finally were. For once, there were no battles to fight, just good food, family, and friends. It was, in every sense, the perfect day. As the sun dipped slightly in the sky, Bulma stepped forward, holding a glass of wine. She tapped it gently. Clink, clink, clink. The sound carried across the yard, and the crowd's chatter faded as all eyes turned to her. Everyone, she began with a proud smile. Thank you for being here today. It's been a long road since Majin Buu, but thanks to all of you, our friends, our fighters, our family, Earth is safe once again. She raised her glass high. So this celebration is for you. Cheers erupted all around. Cups clinked, voices shouted in joy. Even Vegeta gave a small nod of approval. But Bulma's grin grew wider. Now, while this party's amazing, there's one more surprise, and trust me, you're going to love it. She turned and headed inside, leaving the crowd murmuring with curiosity. Android 18 smirked. Oh, this I've got to see. Videl clasped her hands together. Maybe it's jewelry, or a new capsule jet. Goku laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. Huh, I hope it's more food. We kinda ran out. Suddenly, wham! The ground shook. Goku's face hit the dirt. Vegeta stood above him, fists clenched, scowling. That's because you ate all the food, idiot, Vegeta barked, his voice echoing across the yard. Goku sat up, rubbing his cheek. Ow, that's not fair, Vegeta. You attacked me from behind. Next time, don't eat everything before anyone else gets a chance, Vegeta snapped. Laughter broke out from the crowd. Even Piccolo shook his head with a faint smile. Moments later, Bulma returned, holding a large tray. On it, 7 glowing Dragon Balls shimmered under the light. Gasps filled the air. I figured, she said proudly, since Goku and Vegeta were the ones who finished off Buu, they should get to make a wish. The sky darkened instantly. Thunder rumbled. Lightning arced across the clouds. With a deafening roar, the mighty Shenron emerged, his glowing eyes scanning the earth below. State your wish. After Bulma made the first wish, Goku turned toward Vegeta, his eyes gleaming like a kid's. Hey Vegeta, let's play a game of tag. It's super fun. Goku grinned. Vegeta raised an eyebrow. Tag? You're still acting like a child, Kakarot. I am not playing your silly Earthling games. Come on, you'll like it, Goku said, bouncing on his heels. I said no, Vegeta snapped, arms crossed. Well, I'm not taking no for an answer, Goku countered, grinning. And I'm not saying yes, Vegeta shouted back, his patience thinning fast. The two stared each other down, their energy crackling like lightning between them. Finally, Vegeta threw his hands up. Will you be quiet already? Sometimes I wish you were gone, Kakarot, just so I could have some peace and quiet. And then, the air froze. Shenron's eyes flashed red. Your wish has been granted. The Saiyan known as Kakarot will now be gone. Everyone froze. Wait, what? Bulma shouted. Goku blinked in confusion. What did he say? Vegeta's eyes widened in horror. No! That wasn't a real wish, he yelled. I didn't mean it, Shenron. But it was too late. Goku looked down at his hand. His fingers were turning transparent. What's going on? My body, it's disappearing, Chi-Chi screamed. Goku! I feel cold, Goku whispered, his voice trembling. I can't feel my body. His eyes grew heavy as his body shimmered, then collapsed, fading like dust in the wind. Wait! We still have one wish left, Bulma cried, rushing forward. Shenron, please bring back the man called Goku. The dragon's eyes dimmed. I cannot do that, Shenron rumbled. Son Goku is no longer in this universe. My power does not extend beyond its limits. You mean we can't get him back? Bulma whispered, her voice cracking. That is correct. And with that, Shenron vanished into the clouds, the sky clearing once more. The Dragon Balls scattered, lifeless, across the earth. No one spoke. Tien bowed his head, fists shaking. Goku, he said quietly. Krillin stared into the distance, trying to fight back tears. He's gone? Gohan sank into a chair, his eyes full of grief. Father. Chi-Chi dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Goku, come back to us, she cried, her voice breaking, but deep down, she knew. He was gone. The wind blew softly through the courtyard, carrying her voice into the distance. But Goku wasn't dead. Far from it. His spirit was drifting, slipping through time and space, pulled into a realm beyond the gods' reach. A strange new world awaited him. A world filled with pirates, danger, and a government built on lies. The world known as One Piece. It was a beautiful sunny morning. The sky stretched wide and blue. The ocean glimmered like liquid glass, and birds soared above an island surrounded by vast, endless waters. The air was warm, alive, peaceful, almost too peaceful. Near the center of that island, in a dense forest blanketed by tall trees and lush vines, a man lay unconscious on the dirt. His orange martial arts GI was torn slightly, his black hair wild and spiky, his face calm but smudged with dust. It was the Saiyan warrior, Son Goku. Sunlight crept through the canopy, spilling in golden patches across the forest floor until a ray landed directly on Goku's face. He scrunched up his nose, groaning softly and turning to his side. 5 more minutes, he mumbled, half asleep. The light didn't stop. It warmed his face until he finally cracked one eye open and froze. Dirt. Leaves. A forest he didn't recognize. What the? He sat up quickly, rubbing the back of his head. Ow, man, my head hurts. He blinked, scanning his surroundings. Where am I? Goku slowly rose to his feet, brushing himself off. Giant trees towered over him. The air smelled like salt and moss. None of it felt familiar. With a quiet hum, he bent his knees and leapt high into the air, landing lightly on the top of a tree branch. From there, he scanned the horizon, mountains, waterfalls, ocean, but no sign of West City or even Mount Paozu. Nothing looked like home. He hopped down again and sat cross-legged on the ground, closing his eyes to think. Okay, let's see, he muttered. I was talking with everyone at Bulma's party. I ate a ton of food at the buffet. Then I talked with Vegeta and... His eyes snapped open. Wait a minute. Memories crashed into him. The Dragon Balls, Shenron, Vegeta yelling that he wished Goku would just disappear. Then darkness. "Oh, no way," Goku whispered. "Don't tell me that actually worked." He pressed 2 fingers to his forehead, focusing his energy. Maybe I can still instant transmission back to them, he thought hopefully. But nothing happened. Not even a flicker of familiar ki. Goku's heart sank. It was as if every life energy he knew, Vegeta, Gohan, Chi-Chi, all of them, had vanished completely. "They're gone." His voice was barely a whisper. "They're all gone." He fell to his knees, hands trembling against the ground. For the first time in years, he felt truly alone. After a long silence, he let out a sigh, then stood back up, forcing a small grin. "Well, guess I better find a village or something. I'm starving." That one silly thought lightened his mood just a little. Typical Goku, food always came first. He started walking through the forest, pushing branches aside, until he reached the edge of a cliff. Below, a massive palace stood carved into the rock face, its walls ancient but sturdy, surrounded by dense trees and fog. "Whoa," Goku said, squinting. "Looks like someone lives down there." He focused his senses. The air buzzed with energy, strong ones, but strangely scattered. I can feel a lot of Kai around here, but I don't see anybody. Just then, "Watch out!" A shout echoed behind him. Goku spun around instantly, dropping into a defensive stance. His eyes darted to the source, a girl standing a few meters away, pointing beside him in panic. "Huh?" Goku blinked. "Look out!" she screamed again. He turned just in time to see a massive, beast-like creature crawling from the shadows. Its skin rough like stone, tail swinging side to side, and fangs jagged like knives. Its eyes locked on him, yellow and feral. The beast let out a low, rumbling growl before pouncing. Snap! Crash! Both turned as the noise echoed. The girl had tripped over a tree stump and fallen into a tangle of vines and twigs. She struggled, kicking desperately as the vines tightened around her leg. The monster turned its head toward her and snarled, claws digging into the dirt as it charged. "No!" Goku's instincts flared. He moved before he even thought, rushing toward her. The creature lunged, its claws aimed straight at the girl. "Ah!" she screamed, eyes shut in terror. "No!" Goku roared, launching himself forward in a blur. He grabbed the beast by its tail mid-air, planting his feet firmly into the ground. The creature's momentum snapped to a stop, its body whipping around. It hissed, fangs bared. "Not today," Goku grunted. He spun the creature around once, twice, 3 times before releasing it like a hammer throw. The beast flew through the air and crashed violently into a tree, the trunk splintering under the impact. It slumped to the ground, motionless. Goku exhaled, shaking his hand. "Man, you're a tough one." He turned toward the girl, who was still struggling with the vines. "Hang on! I'll get you out of there." With a quick flick of his wrist, Goku tore through the vines like paper. Who are you?" the girl asked weakly, staring up at him with wide eyes. Goku smiled warmly. "Just a friend here to help." He broke the last vine and helped her to her feet. "Thanks, she began, but her words died in her throat. Behind them, a shadow moved. The beast's eyes snapped open. It pushed itself up, blood dripping from its snout, and let out a deep, guttural roar. Goku's expression hardened. "You okay?" he asked quickly. The girl nodded, though she was trembling. "Good," he said, and then his senses screamed danger. "Because maybe you can get out of the way." He shoved her aside just as the beast leapt again, claws outstretched. Goku met it head-on, their collision blasting them both off the cliff. They plummeted fast, the wind roaring past their ears. The palace below rushed closer with every heartbeat. Normally, Goku would have simply flown them both to safety, but the creature's jaws were snapping inches from his face, forcing him to hold it back with both hands. "Man, you don't quit!" Goku shouted over the rushing wind. The beast roared, saliva flying. Goku's muscles tightened. "All right, buddy, get off me!" He pulled one arm back, his fist glowing faintly with energy. Then, bam! He punched the creature square between the eyes. The force sent the monster hurtling downward, crashing through the trees and disappearing into the lower jungle below. Goku landed moments later, crouched among the dust and broken branches, exhaling slowly. "Well," he said with a grin, "guess that's one way to start the day." The wind howled past him as Goku fell through the open sky. Eyes closed, arms spread, a smile tugging at his lips. "Ah, that feels nice," he sighed, letting the cool breeze wash over him as he descended through the clouds. For a brief moment, he almost forgot about everything. The wish, the dragon, the strange new world. All that mattered was the rush of the air and the feeling of freedom. Then he opened his eyes. Below him, the massive palace loomed, and he was falling straight toward it. "Ah!" he yelled as his body crashed through the roof like a meteor, tearing through stone and tile before slamming headfirst into a room filled with steam and water. "Splash!" he groaned, pushing himself up, water dripping down his face. "Ugh! Why do I keep landing on my head?" Goku blinked through the thick steam, trying to get his bearings. The air was warm, misty, and smelled faintly of perfume and soap. He tilted his head, squinting through the haze. "Where am I now?" he muttered, wiping his face. He spotted a faint rectangular outline against one wall. That looks like a door." Just as he started walking toward it, a soft sound echoed from the far side of the room, the faint splash of movement. Goku froze and turned his head, eyes narrowing as he tried to make out the shadowy figure through the steam. Slowly, the haze cleared just enough for him to see her. A tall woman with long, raven black hair cascading down her back, sitting in the bath, her eyes wide with shock. Her skin glistened under the steam, and her expression shifted from surprise to pure fury. Her name, Boa Hancock, the Empress of Amazon Lily, ruler of the Kuja. Goku blinked, completely thrown off. Hi there?" he said awkwardly, scratching the back of his head. For a second, time froze. Then her piercing gaze locked on him, sharp, cold, and deadly. That look made Goku's stomach tighten. It wasn't just her beauty, though she was stunning beyond words. It was her presence. The fiery will behind her eyes reminded him of Chi-Chi, and that alone told him not to push his luck. This woman's not to be messed with, Goku thought, stepping back slightly. Hancock's voice broke the silence, furious, commanding, and echoing through the marble walls. "A male? In the palace? Sisters, come quickly!" Goku winced and clapped his hands over his ears. "Ow, man, you've got a strong voice." Within seconds, the doors burst open and two towering women rushed in. Their lower halves coiled like massive serpents, their eyes fierce and protective. "Whoa!" Goku exclaimed, blinking as he took in the sight. One had orange hair and a large muscular frame with a bloated stomach, Marigold. The other was slender, with teal hair and a wide head, Sandersonia. The two sisters slid into the room, eyes darting between Goku and their naked older sister in the bath. "Sister, are you all right? Did he hurt you?" Sandersonia cried, rushing to Hancock's side. Marigold's face darkened with rage. "If he so much as touched you?" Her eyes snapped toward Goku, blazing. Hey, wait a minute," Goku said quickly, raising his hands in surrender. "It's not what it looks like." The tension was suffocating. The air around them practically vibrated. None of the women moved, their eyes locked on Goku like predators circling prey. That's when Goku's eyes caught something. A strange symbol burned into Hancock's back, visible just beneath her long hair. It looked like a brand etched deep into her skin. Curious, he tilted his head. "Hey, there's something on your back. Is that a tattoo or something?" The room went dead silent. Hancock froze. Her eyes widened, then narrowed in fury. Her sisters' faces twisted in panic. "You looked!" Hancock's voice was low, almost a whisper, but dripping with venom. Goku flinched at the intensity of it. The three women's auras spiked. The pressure in the air grew heavy. Goku could feel it, hostility, pain, and something darker behind it. Wait, I didn't mean anything by it," he said quickly, stepping back, palms out. "I was just curious, that's all." "Why is it bad to look at a mark?" Hancock glared, her expression filled with hate and sorrow. "This mark fuels my hatred for creatures like you," she hissed. "It is our burden, a secret we must protect, even if it means we must die." Her hands rose, palms glowing with pink light. "Now take this and be gone." Marrow, mellow. A burst of shimmering pink energy exploded from her hands, spiraling through the steam like a beam of light. Goku's eyes widened. Oh, crap! He had no idea what kind of attack this was, but he wasn't taking chances. He crossed his arms in front of his face, bracing for impact. The beam hit him, then vanished. Nothing happened. Seconds passed. Goku peeked out from behind his arms, blinking. Huh? He looked down at his GI, patting himself. No burn marks, no explosions. Did she miss? He glanced up, confused, only to see Hancock and her sisters wearing the same bewildered expression. What? Why didn't he turn to stone? Hancock gasped. It must have been a fluke. Try again, big sister, Sandersonia urged. Hancock's fury returned. Very well. Once more. Marrow, mellow. Another burst of pink light shot from her hands. This time, Goku didn't even move. He stood still, studying the energy as it swirled around him in a storm of glowing hearts. What the? He murmured, eyes wide with curiosity. The stream of pink hearts spun around him like a cyclone before fading into thin air, leaving him completely unharmed. He blinked, dumbfounded. That's it? Huh, weird attack. The three sisters stared in disbelief. Every person who ever laid eyes on Boa Hancock was supposed to turn to stone. Her beauty was a weapon that no one could resist. But this man, this strange, clueless fighter, was standing there, completely unaffected. To Goku, though, the attack didn't feel like a typical energy blast. It had power, yes, but not the destructive kind he knew. It was different, subtle, emotional, almost like it was fueled by intent, not force. He frowned, tilting his head. There's definitely energy in that, but no explosion, no impact. So what's it even supposed to do? Impossible! Hancock breathed, disbelief cutting through the steam like a blade. Her eyes narrowed until they were slits. Why didn't he turn to stone? Does his heart not melt at the sight of me? Marigold's expression was flat, stubborn. Of course not, sister, she snapped. Sandersonia nodded in agreement. He must fear death more than the wicked pleasure of seeing you in the bath, she offered, voice cold. Goku cocked his head, utterly puzzled. Stone? Wicked desires? The words didn't make sense to him until a powerful tail blurred past his face. Get him, Sandersonia! Marigold roared. Goku reacted without thinking. He backflipped into the air as the tail whistled by and landed neatly on its length as it swung. Hey, watch it, he called, grinning. You almost damaged the palace if I hadn't jumped over your tail. That only served to rile the sisters further. Marigold and Sandersonia lunged together, fast, coordinated, and full of lethal intent. What followed was a furious dance of strikes. The two moved like a single predator with twin limbs. Marigold thudding forward with crushing blows, Sandersonia darting in with sharp, whip-like jabs. Goku flowed through their assault, sidestepping, redirecting, and using the sisters' momentum against them. For a long stretch, he evaded every synchronized blow as if the flurry were a simple training drill. Sandersonia readied a powerful uppercut and launched it at him. Goku crouched, letting the blow pass over him, then thrust his arms down and shot upward, driving both feet into Sandersonia's chest and sending her skidding back. He laughed, confident, breathless, a warrior convinced the challenge could last all morning. But the fight shifted in an instant. While Goku's attention was on Sandersonia, Marigold closed the gap. She swung a heavy, blunt object with frightening speed. It struck the back of Goku's head with a sickening thud. He didn't even have time to register the pain before darkness took him. Goku collapsed to the floor, limp and unconscious. Silence fell like a curtain. The Kuja sisters panted, chests heaving. Their coordinated assault had cost them effort. The room echoed with the sound of their breathing and the faint drip of steam. Huff, huff. "What shall we do with him, sister?" Marigold asked, eyes flicking between the fallen man and Hancock. Sandersonia's voice trembled with a mixture of triumph and indecision. "Should we kill him here?" Hancock stood there, expression unreadable as she stared down at the motionless form. Then, slowly, a smile curled across her lips, cold and cruel. Her gaze sharpened like a blade. "Take him to the arena," she said, voice soft but deadly. "We will publicly execute him before the entire village." Her smile widened into something almost venomous as the sisters exchanged a look of grim satisfaction. The decision was made. And that's it for today's episode, guys. If you watched to the end, then that could be an indication that you enjoy the series. So please leave a like on the video. Thank you and take care.